Hey guys, welcome back, high level listeners. Today we're diving into a topic that's very important for a lot of our high level listeners, and that's talking about your workday. So, if you want to learn some new high level vocabulary to talk about your daily work routines, tasks, and interactions in commonly spoken English, and you want to chat more in depth about how you manage your work days, handle meetings, and balance tasks, you've come to the right place.
Yes, hello everyone, welcome. Thanks for joining us here at High Level Listening. This is our YouTube channel where we give you side-by-side American and British English with me, Mark from the UK, and Kat from the US. So we're excited to bring you a brand new episode today. This one was specifically chosen and voted for by our subscribers. We put a little vote in our community post, and a lot of you would like to talk more about your work day. So we'll be chatting about our typical work days and what they look like, and give you lots of authentic, naturally spoken English vocabulary along the way.
So, we always want you to come away from our classes feeling comfortable and confident in your new vocabulary and speaking skills. So, just like every episode, we have two scripts for you today. One from me in a more American English style, and Mark will provide his version in more of a British English style.
Yes, and then after our scripts, we'll go back to the start and go through the script line by line, giving you deeper explanations of our favorite vocabulary and phrases so you can learn how to grasp them and use them easily and confidently in your life. So let's get started. I will ask Kat the main question for our scripts today. What does a typical workday look like?
My workday starts pretty early. I try to get into work before rush hour usually. I check my calendar first thing for meetings and deadlines that might set the tone for the day. Then, if there's nothing too urgent, I get a jump on my emails, usually handing the most pressing ones first. It's pretty common that around mid morning, I jump on a video call with the team to sync up on tasks and updates. Let's see, after the call, I focus on individual projects and coordinate with coworkers as needed. Let's see, in the afternoon, I finalize any loose ends, giving those final documents a once over before sending them off to the higher ups. Before heading home, I organize my desk and get a checklist ready for the next day, which helps me start fresh in the morning. Okay, so let's go ahead and ask Mark about his typical workday. Mark, what does your typical workday look like?
I'm close enough to the office to actually walk to work, which is great because it saves money and it helps me clear my head before I get into work mode. First, I have a look through my schedule and I'll quickly catch up on any emails that came in over the weekend. Once everyone's settled in and caught up, we have our daily stand-up to make sure we're all on the same page and talk about any blockers. After that, I get to work on my key tasks for the day, testing fixes, clearing support tickets or updating documentation. I always try to get out of the building for lunch just to reset. Then it's a case of wrapping things up by the end of the afternoon, or at least setting things up for the next day. Okay, so now you've heard both of our scripts. Like we said, we'll go back to the start and go back through line by line and focus a bit more on the best vocabulary and expressions from each one. We'll give you some definitions, examples, and help you properly grasp the new material. So, back to the start. Kat, when does your workday start?
My workday starts pretty early. I try to get into work before rush hour. So, my workday starts pretty early. Pretty is a pretty common word. I used it there. It is a common word, which means fairly or can mean quite, and it's very commonly used in American English. So, my workday starts pretty early. My workday, my day at work, my workday. So my workday starts pretty early. I try to get into work before rush hour. So we've got a lot of little words here, and some of them are important and some of them are less important. I try to get in. I try to get into work. So try and get are the most important verbs. So we're going to hear them much more clearly than the other little words. To, in, to. So I have to, in, and to. But in quickly spoken English, I try to get in. I try to get into work. I try to get into work before rush hour. So Get into work sounds like I'm arriving at work and I'm walking into the building. Okay. I try to get into work before rush hour. I try to arrive at the office before rush hour. I try to get into work before rush hour. Rush hour is the time of day, usually in the morning and the afternoon, when people are going to work and when people are coming home from work. That usually means that there are lots and lots of people driving, lots and lots of people using public transportation. It starts to get complicated, it starts to get crowded. Rush hour is kind of an interesting phrase because we don't say rush hours. We just say rush hour. Even if it's from 8 a.m. or even earlier, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., those 3 hours, the crowded time is rush hour. Rush hour. The morning rush hour, the afternoon rush hour. All right. So, Mark, how do you normally get to work?
I'm close enough to the office to actually walk to work, which is great because it saves money and helps me clear my head before I get into work mode. So, some phrases that we should point out early. First, I'm close enough to the office. The office. When we use the before the word office, you understand that this is the office that I work in. This is my workplace, the office. If you call me and say, "Hey, Mark, where are you?" I'm in the office. The means it's the one where I do my job. So when I say the office, that's my job. If you say the office, then that's your place of work. If you don't work in an office, then the place you work in is called work. Like Kat said, get into work. Work is like the place, and it has no or no the beforehand, just work. Go to work, drive to work. Or in my case, I walk to work. And again, if you call me, "Where are you?" I'm at work. It's like a place. It's the place you work in. So I'm actually close enough to the office to actually walk to work, which is great because it saves money and helps me clear my head before I get into work mode. Clear my head means I can relax, I can just be calm for a little bit before all the work tasks and work problems come to get me. And Kat in her script said, "Get into work." And I'm saying, before I get into work mode. So 2 words, work mode. Work mode, sometimes we talk about ourselves like we are robots or computers. When I'm thinking about work, and I'm thinking about my tasks, I switch into work mode. I'm not thinking about family, friends, or free time. I'm thinking about my clients, my colleagues, and my tasks. Sometimes you feel it when you walk through the door of your office. You switch mentally. You switch into work mode. And the collocation is get into work mode. So if you get into work mode, there are other modes as well, kind of party mode, relaxing mode, social mode, quiet mode.
Study
There's
mode.
lots of different things. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. But yes, so when I get into work or get into the office, I also get into work mode. It's time to work. Okay, so Kat, what's the first thing that you do at work?
So I check my calendar first thing for meetings and deadlines that might set the tone for the day. Okay, so the first thing I do at work, I check my calendar first thing. So first thing in the morning, first thing is the first thing that I need to do, the first task, but we've shortened it. So I check my calendar first thing, means right away. That's the first thing I do. I check my calendar. Now, we can use this word check. I like this verb. I check my phone means I look at it for any notifications, any updates. I check my email means I open up the emails and I have a look. I'm looking at them. I'm seeing if any of them are important. I check my calendar. I check my calendar first thing. So why am I checking my calendar? I check my calendar for meetings and deadlines. So, all right, what do I have to do today? Okay, I have a meeting, mid-morning meeting. I have another video call, and I have a deadline this week, so I need to make sure that I'm working towards that deadline. A deadline is when you have a time that work needs to be finished. Okay. If the deadline is tomorrow, I need to finish this project, finish this work, finish this document before tomorrow, before the deadline. So a deadline is usually a time and a date where something needs to be finished. Okay. A deadline. It's kind of a weird word, but yeah, that's what it means. Meetings and deadlines that might set the tone for the day. So, to set the tone for the day, so the tone of the day would be the feeling for the day, kind of the vibe, the atmosphere. So, if we're setting the tone for the day, if I see, I only have one meeting this morning, my deadline is next week, and I've already finished most of it. Well, then it might be a more relaxed tone. Okay. I might be feeling, quite good and relaxed. There's nothing urgent going on. But if I look at my calendar and there's a deadline today, I have 3 urgent emails. I just checked my calendar and I have 2 extra meetings. Well, then, I need to go a bit faster. I might be a bit more rushed for the day. So I check my calendar first thing for meetings and deadlines that might set the tone for the day. What about you, Mark? What's the first thing you do when you get to work?
First, I have a look through my schedule and I'll quickly catch up on any emails that came in over the weekend. So, similar to Kat, she said, I check my calendar. I could say I check my schedule, but another way to say it is I have a look through my schedule. I have a look through my schedule. I use 3 phrasal verbs. This is the first one. Look through. If you look through something, you look at it closely. You look through a calendar, look through a schedule, look through your inbox. It's to check it for messages and important things. So first, I have a look through my schedule. You can also say, I look through my schedule. I have a look through my schedule. It's the same one. And I'll quickly catch up on any emails. Catch up on, it's one of those phrasal verbs with 3 parts. Catch up on. So the emails are old. Maybe the emails arrived a few days ago, or maybe on Friday, and I didn't want to do them. So if it's Monday, I need to go back and finish the tasks from before. That is catching up on work. I need to do those tasks because they're the oldest ones. Before I take on any new tasks, catch up on old emails first. So emails from Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I answer them first. So I quickly catch up on any emails that came in over the weekend. Came in. If you enter a building, you come in. If you knock on the door, like come in. It's also emails. Emails come in. It's like they walked into your office or walked into your office building. The email came in, a message came in, a phone call came in for you. Here you are.
Yeah.
We're going to use a lot of phrasal verbs today because we're talking about work and there's lots of phrasal verbs. So this one had 3. So first, I have a look through my schedule. Then I'll quickly catch up on any emails that came in over the weekend. All right. So what's next? We've started working in the morning. What else do you get done in the mornings?
So I checked my calendar, right? First thing. Then if there's nothing too urgent, I get a jump on my emails, usually handing the most pressing ones first. So because I am setting the tone for the day, okay, it seems fine. There's no meetings I have to run to. There's nothing really too urgent. So if there's nothing too urgent, meaning I can wait, I don't have to answer those emails right now, or I don't have to answer a phone call, or I don't have to do anything right now. If there's nothing too urgent, I get a jump on my emails. To get a jump on something means to get started with something. So, hey, I'm gonna get a jump on this, meaning I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so I get a jump on my emails. Like Mark said, there are so many phrasal verbs at work. I know we're a bit casual at work, I would say. Most people that I know have a very casual work relationship with their coworkers. So they use tons of phrasal verbs instead of a more formal way of talking. So I get a jump on my emails, usually handling the most pressing ones first. So we've got two words in here, urgent and pressing. Urgent is like an emergency. Urgent. I need an answer now. Please respond right away. I can't wait. This is urgent. Pressing is also very similar. I would say you have an emergency, you have something that's urgent, and then very close, but less urgent, less important would be pressing. Like, I need an answer today, hopefully, or I need an answer pretty soon. Please, like, don't forget about me. So I will handle the most pressing ones first. Handle is to answer, reply, call them back, message them. It's to kind of respond or fix the problem, right? I'm handling it. So I'm starting to fix the problem. You sent me an email. Okay, I'm handling it. I'm fixing the problem. I'm doing it, right? So I'm handling the most pressing emails, the most pressing ones first. If it looks important, I'll answer that one first. All right, Mark. Now, it's pretty common. Do you have team meetings usually during the day?
Yes, we do. Once everyone's settled in and caught up, we have our daily stand-up to make sure we're all on the same page and talk about any blockers. So maybe I should have mentioned earlier, this work that I'm describing, I have a lot of students who are software engineers, software developers, or work in IT. And I've heard these phrases a lot from my students. I actually learned them from my students. So my vocabulary is a bit more specific if you work in the software or IT area.
Oh, good, because I don't know these ones.
Right, sure, I had to ask my students. I've heard it a few times. So, back to the start. Once everyone's settled in, another phrasal verb. You arrive at work and, open the emails, get my coffee, check, have a look through my schedule. I need 15 minutes, 30 minutes to settle in. When I settle in, I'm more comfortable at work, I'm able to think about work, and I'm slowly getting more and more organized. I know, okay, I'll do this first, okay, then I'll do that. Okay, it's starting to be organized in my mind. I am settled in, and I'm ready. So once or after everyone's settled in and caught up, I talked about earlier, I need to catch up on emails. And when I finish those emails and I reply to them and I finish that old work, I am caught up. I am caught up means I'm ready. I have finished all my old tasks and I'm ready for new tasks to be given to me. I'm ready for new stuff, new work. I am caught up. So once everyone's settled in and caught up and ready, we have our daily stand-up. So a stand-up. Stand-up is one word here, and it's a type of meeting. It's a short meeting. It's usually about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and it's at the beginning of the day where everyone gets to talk about what they did, what they will do, and if they have any problems they need sorted. It's every day, so it's a daily stand-up. I think it just takes place here. You literally don't stand up from your chair. It's just called a stand-up. I've also heard it called a scrum, but we have our daily stand-up to make sure we're all on the same page. We're all on the same page. You might know this expression before. It means that we all understand each other. We all know the same goals, we all have the same ideas, and we're all going in the same direction. There's no confusion, we're not working on different things and losing time. We're all on the same page. If you know the task and I know the task, we're on the same page. The last word, which again seemed more common among my students in IT, was blockers. Blockers is a word for problems. If you have a problem, something stopping you from continuing your work, you have a blocker. In IT, a blocker could be a software update, a bug, a glitch. Someone else hasn't done their part yet. That is a blocker. To block is to stop something or stop it advancing. So blockers stop you getting on with your work. So hopefully that's some vocabulary for IT workers, or if you're already in an IT position in English, maybe you're already familiar with those phrases. How about you, Kat? Do you have team meetings as well?
Common that around mid-morning, I jump on a video call with a team to sync up on tasks and updates. It's pretty common that around mid-morning. Okay, so just like Mark, he had his daily stand-up. So it's pretty common that around mid-morning, I jump on a video call with the team. Mid-morning, for me, would probably be 9:30, 10 o'clock. Usually people arrive at the office around 8, go to lunch at 12. So mid-morning would be around 10 a.m. And around mid-morning, I jump on a video call. Okay, see, we're going fast at work, right? We're jumping around. So we've got get a jump on your emails. Get a jump on something means to start doing something. And if you jump on a video call, hop on a call, jump on a call. We've used these in a phrasal verb video before. Hop on a call, jump on a call. This is quite common for video calls because we might need to, we might be writing something, we might be doing something, and then, okay, well, here, let me just quickly get on the video call. I jumped on a call, I hopped on a call, and then hopefully it's not too long. We get our questions answered. We sync up on tasks and updates. Mark said you want to make sure to get on the same page. We want to make sure we're on the same page. Well, I need to sync up with the team members, sync up with the team. If we are synced up, that means we are on the same page. We know what we're doing. We're on the right task. We're doing the correct things together, right? So I jump on a video call with the team to sync up on tasks. Tasks are small jobs. And updates. Updates would be new information, new things happening, tasks and updates. All right, Mark, so you've had your daily stand-up and everyone's synced up. What happens next?
So that I get to work on my key tasks for the day. Testing fixes, clearing support tickets, or updating documentation. So I think we've got another variation on get to work. So this was, after that, I get to work on my key tasks. Right. So in the morning, I get to work. Like I arrive at the office building. Then when I'm at my desk, I can get to work on some tasks. Get to work on stuff means you start working on it. So if I'm a software engineer, I get to work on writing some code, merging branches, pulling repositories, all of these tech things. So I get to work on my key tasks. Key means important. A key task is an important task or a high priority task that you really should do first. So my key tasks for the day. My tasks for the day are the ones on my schedule today. Tomorrow might be different tasks, but the important ones today are my key tasks for the day. So I get to work on my key tasks for the day. And again, I wanted to give some examples if anyone's in software: testing fixes, clearing support tickets, or updating documentation. Clearing tickets means answering the question, helping the client. So on my profile, the ticket is solved, the customer is happy, or I sent the problem to someone higher up. Anyway, what about you, Kat? What happens next after your meeting?
Okay, so I hopped on a video call and I synced up with everyone. After the call, I focus on individual projects and coordinate with coworkers as needed. Now, this sounds like a very generic task. Okay, I focus on individual projects. Okay, so I work with the team. Now that the team is all updated, we were all working on the same thing. I will now focus on individual projects. Okay. Maybe my job, part of it is working with the team, and part of it is doing my own job, right? So individual projects, individual, one person, team projects would be with a group projects, individual projects, team projects. A project is usually a big piece of work to do. It's not just an individual task, which would be smaller. A project is usually going to be more work. And I coordinate with coworkers as needed. Now, I work in an office with some team members and other coworkers. Now, team members, we're in the same team working on the same project. Okay, so I would call those people my teammates or my other team members. But people that just work in my office, maybe I don't get to see them very often. Maybe I don't always know who they are. Or maybe we're kind of friends. Coworkers. Coworkers. Sometimes my students ask, what's the difference between coworkers and colleagues? Usually I think of colleagues as people we are on the same level when it comes to academics. So a lot of professors call the people they work with colleagues because, I teach English, you teach science. We don't really need to work together, but we both are important professors, right? So we are colleagues. We're colleagues. I think much more casually, most work environments, I call people my coworkers. So I'm going to coordinate with them. To coordinate is to work together with them. Okay, so if I need to coordinate something, I need to work together with another coworker. So I'm going to coordinate with coworkers as needed. So if I need to coordinate, hey, can we get together and work on this? Okay, great. As needed. If I need to, I will coordinate with them. If I don't need to, then I don't need to talk to anybody. So it's as needed. All right, excellent. So Mark, do you take any breaks during the day?
I always try to get out of the building for lunch just to reset. So on my lunch break, I try to get out of the building. The building. This is similar to the office. That's the one I work in. The building is the one I work in, the building I work in. When I say the, I'm referring to one that you already know or one that I've already talked about. So I try to get out of the building. Previously, we talked about get into work, get to work. Now I want to get out of the building or get out of work for lunch. Typically in the UK, people have between 30 minutes to an hour for lunch, and often there's lots of cafes or small restaurants or pubs near big office buildings because they know business people have time and money for lunch. So I try to get out of the building for lunch just to reset. So again, when I arrived at work, I got into work mode. And again, I'm like a machine. I need to relax my brain. I need to reset. So maybe after doing lots of tasks in the morning, my brain is getting a bit tired. I need to get out of the building, eat something, and just be in a different environment. And then my energy will come back. I will reset. So I'll be back to 100%, full of energy and focus for the afternoon. So I always try to get out of the building for lunch just to reset. So, Kat, how do you end your workday?
Afternoon, I finalize any loose ends, giving those final documents a once over before sending them off to the higher ups. Okay, so I've got documents that I need to finish. So I'm going to finalize them. To finalize something is to make sure that it is 100% completed. Okay, so I finalize any loose ends. Maybe I have a document and I need to read it one more time for any mistakes. Maybe I need to finish sending some emails. Maybe I need to write one more page of the document. Okay, so I started the work at the beginning of the day and now it's time to finish it. So I finalize any loose ends. We also use the phrase tie up any loose ends. Now, a loose end, I think of tying something and some pieces are just dangling at the bottom. So we need to tie those up, make them look pretty, right? So tie up any loose ends, finalize any loose ends, giving those final documents a once over. A once over. Now, I've created these documents, but I took a little break, I went to lunch, and they need a once over. That means I need to look them over. I need to look at them quite closely for any mistakes I might have made. I like to do my once over usually after a break, kind of give myself a little break and then look at it with fresh eyes, right? So I give those documents a once over before sending them off. Sending them off. There is no real difference between sending them to the higher ups and sending them off, but it kind of sounds like I'm really getting rid of them, right? I don't want those anymore. I'm sending them off. Okay, get out of here. Get out of here. So I'm sending them off to the higher ups. The higher ups could be my boss. It could be the CEO. Just anyone who's probably getting paid more than me, the higher ups. This kind of comes from, the workers are at the bottom and the higher ups, like the CEO, they're higher on the scale, right? So this is kind of, I wouldn't say that it's informal, but I would definitely use it with other workers on the same level. So yeah, just send them on to the higher ups. My CEO, CFO, COO, my manager, my boss, the people above me, the higher ups, the higher ups. And it's funny because we do use this for the group of people that are above me. He's a higher up, they are higher ups, right? We use them as the people. Okay, so Mark, what about you? It's time to wrap things up, huh?
Yes, then it's a case of wrapping things up by the end of the afternoon, or at least setting things up for the next day. So more phrasal verbs because it's work. So this is how I end my workday. It's a case of, or it's an example of, or I usually have to wrap things up. So wrap things up means to finish something. If you wrap something up, you finish it. You can wrap up a meeting. You can wrap up a presentation. We're about to wrap up this episode in like 5 or 10 minutes because we're near the end. So phrasal verbs, or business English, is full of phrasal verbs. If somebody said, let's stop the meeting, I think, oh, is something wrong? Is there someone at the door? Is your house on fire? Is there an emergency? But let's wrap things up sounds much more casual because it's a phrasal verb and it sounds less urgent and serious. So this is one of the reasons we've been using so many phrasal verbs. They are less urgent, less serious, or less direct. So hopefully that builds the relationship between colleagues. I suppose that's the idea. So it's a case of wrapping things up. So finishing my work, finishing my tasks by the end of the afternoon. That's my deadline, the end of the afternoon. That's probably 4, 5, or 6 p.m. And if I don't wrap up my tasks, if I don't have time to finish everything, then at least, at minimum, I set things up for the next day. Set things up is prepare things for the next day. So maybe I can't finish it today, but I can leave the program open, or I can leave my work there on the screen. So tomorrow, when I sit down and look, I can start working straight away. So I can set things up. I can prepare things for the next day. So that's it. It's a case of wrapping things up, or at least setting things up for the next day. Okay, last question. Anything else that you get done before the end of the day?
Before heading home, I organize my desk and get a checklist ready for the next day, which helps me start fresh in the morning. So, heading home, very common to use, going home. Before heading home, before going home, I organize my desk. Okay, so I might tidy up a little bit, put these papers here. I've sent off some other items, ready to go. I organize my desk and get a checklist ready. To get something ready is to prepare something. So I'm getting a checklist ready. So Mark is setting things up, and I'm setting things up by getting a checklist ready. I get a checklist ready for the next day, which helps me. Okay, so the checklist helps me start fresh. Okay, this is a tool that I use so I can start fresh in the morning. When we start fresh, we really just feel good and energized in the morning. I don't have to spend all that morning pre-coffee thinking about what I have to do for the day. So I get started right away and I can start fresh in the morning. All right, so there you have it. Some really useful and authentic vocabulary to help you talk about your workday. Mark was very helpful talking about very specific IT and software engineer stuff. And we also had a lot of general work vocabulary you can use in any instance. So we would love to see if you can use some of the new phrases that you learned in this video to practice with us. What was your favorite phrase from this episode? Were there any Were there any words or phrases that were new for you? Let us know in the comments below. We read and reply to every single one.
Yes, we definitely do. We love hearing from you. And yeah, we want to know what a normal working day is like for you. Don't forget, you can also get the PDF transcript of this episode and all our episodes. It has the full script. It has every sentence and all the examples that we used. It's a nice downloadable file you can take offline and you can study on your own. So you can click the link in the description below to get access to that.
Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you again very soon for our newest video.
Bye-bye.